The shadow of the throne, King Aurangzeb, was born into power, wealth, and expectation, the son of Shah Jahan and grandson of Jahangir. He grew up in a world of marble palaces, gardens, and courtly intrigue, but also of rivalry and danger. From an early age, King Aurangzeb understood a simple truth. Blood ties are fragile, ambition is deadly, and the crown waits for no one. He was different from his predecessors, where Akbar had embraced tolerance and culture, and Shah Jahan had turned grief into marble. King Aurangzeb would embrace austerity, discipline, and uncompromising authority. His reign would stretch the Mughal Empire to its largest territorial extent, yet sow the seeds of its eventual decline. His story is a tale of ambition, internal struggle, faith, and consequence. A ruler who walked the thin line between greatness and obsession. Ascension to the throne, 1658. Blood on marble. The death of Shah Jahan ignited a war of succession. King Aurangzeb faced his brothers, including the intellectual and charismatic Dera Shikoh, in a battle of blood and strategy. Ruthless, calculated, and relentless, King Aurangzeb emerged victorious. He imprisoned his father in Agra fort, taking the throne by force and fear. But victory came at a cost. His rise exposed the fragile nature of loyalty. Soldiers, nobles, and even family could betray with a whisper or a blade. The weight of power settled heavily on his shoulders, a crown forged from ambition and blood. Even as emperor, King Aurangzeb knew that every day was a battle for survival, both against enemies and against the temptations that could undermine his strict discipline. And King Aurangzeb maintained a centralized Mughal administration, enforcing law, order, and revenue collection with uncompromising rigor. He relied on provincial governors, subadars, for regional control, but demanded strict loyalty and performance. Any hint of corruption or dissent was met with swift action. Unlike his grandfather Akbar or father Shah Jahan, King Aurangzeb attempted to enforce Islamic law across the empire, reflecting his personal piety. His austere policies alienated some, but strengthened the image of a ruler who would not bend for anyone. Yet governance was a tightrope. Even small errors could spark rebellion. King Aurangzeb knew that the throne is secured not by mercy alone, but by vigilance, fear, and absolute discipline, military campaigns, and expansion. The empire stretched to its limits. King Aurangzeb's ambition was territorial as well as ideological. He expanded the empire to its largest territorial extent, conquering the Deccan sultanates and consolidating southern India under Mughal authority. But the campaigns were endless. Marathas' local rulers and regional rebellions constantly threatened stability. The emperor was always on the move, balancing war, administration, and suppression of revolt. The military victories secured his power, yet also strained resources and manpower. Every conquest came with the heavy cost of blood and loyalty. King Aurangzeb's life became a relentless rhythm of war and vigilance, a ruler who never truly rested. Religious policy, orthodoxy over tolerance. King Aurangzeb was a devout Sunni Muslim. His religious policies were a sharp contrast to Akbar's tolerance. Reintroduced jizya tax on non-Muslims, enforced Islamic law more strictly than any previous Mughal ruler, destroyed some temples. Though others were spared under officials' discretion, religion was not just belief, was power, control, and order. King Aurangzeb believed the empire's strength depended on obedience to law and faith. Yet these policies sparked tension and resentment. Religious orthodoxy became a tool of authority, but also a source of rebellion, laying seeds for future fragmentation of the empire. Personal life and character, the austerity of an emperor. Unlike Shah Jahan, King Aurangzeb avoided luxury. His life was pious, disciplined, and austere. He spent long hours in prayer, study of Islamic law, and supervision of governance. He valued loyalty, order, and duty above pleasure, art, or cultural indulgence. His personal austerity reinforced his authority, yet also isolated him from allies and family. King Aurangzeb's personality reflected his reign: strict, relentless, principled, and polarizing. He was admired for devotion and strength, yet feared for severity and uncompromising rule. Later years and decline: empire of strain and rebellion by the late 1680s. King Aurangzeb's empire was overspread. Continuous campaigns in the Deccan and rebellions from the Marathas drained resources. Internal dissent simmered among nobles and provincial rulers. The empire, while vast, became fragile under the weight of constant war and harsh policies. King Aurangzeb spent his final years managing revolt and religious tension, rarely leaving the battlefield of governance. The emperor's life had become a ceaseless struggle to maintain order, loyalty, and faith across an empire that could no longer rest. Death and legacy, ambition and consequence. King Aurangzeb died in 1707, leaving a Mughal empire that was vast but vulnerable. His policies and constant warfare accelerated internal fragmentation despite territorial gains. He is remembered as a devout, ambitious, and polarizing ruler, a man who expanded the empire to its greatest size but imposed austerity and orthodoxy at a cost. King Aurangzeb's life is a cautionary tale. Ambition, rigor, and conviction can achieve immense power, yet also plant the seeds of decline. His story resonates as a dark, thrilling narrative of human ambition, risk, and consequence.